Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mental Conditioning Monday. I'm your host, Elliot Allen, the mental conditioning trainer, Elliot Allen. I'm going to say it, but listen, I'm going to say it. How was everybody's week and how was everybody's weekend? You know, we always say that, but there's no need to say that this week because the New York Knicks have won the championship. So I know everybody's week was great. Now, I know it's not for everybody, but here in the New York area, and for me personally, it's a tremendous week, a tremendous thing for me to see, being a New York Knicks fan for literally 45 years, and really spending so much time watching that team. The story is deeper than I can ever tell you guys on the mental conditioning Monday. Actually, another reason why mental conditioning movement is in existence does have a lot to do with sports. As you know, I'm a big sports guy. We talk a lot about boxing, but basketball is truly my first love in sports and really what showed me a lot about life, taught me a lot of life lessons. And the New York Knickerbockers was really one of those key catalysts that taught me a lot about life, and I'm still learning about life. That never ends. And the New York Knicks are still teaching me about life, and this was a huge lesson to me. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's the message. We'll talk about the New York Knicks and what we saw, and I'm going to kind of mash that up to life. I got to try to get it in there as quickly as I can and not keep you guys too long because I could talk about this for another hour. I might do a mental conditioning sports on that channel, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But this was just such an exciting, playoff run for the New York Knicks in this area, and I talked about it last week, and now it's complete. But I just want to say this, and it's very important. And to me, one of the things that we talk about, the main thing that we talk about in the mental conditioning gym and the mental conditioning movement is the four principles of mental conditioning. That's what drives us. That's what drives me. And as I watched this journey for the New York Knicks, particularly, I'm going to mention the name here, Jalen Brunson, particularly the journey that you've seen from Jalen Brunson ever since he's been here, I think is the true way to analyze mindset, mental conditioning, and life. That's why sports is so special to me because, and even in my work in the mental conditioning movement, it gives me a great conduit to show examples about life because sometimes it's hard to teach mindset training. And so when you use sports, it happens inside of an hour, 2 hours. If you're watching a basketball game is 2.5 hours, 3 hours. If you're watching a boxing match, it's 36 minutes. So I get a chance to kind of speed it up and show you what it looks like very, very quickly. But the truth is our lives don't go that way. But when you look at the New York Knicks, you look at Jalen Brunson, he is the epitome of the four principles. I love to watch the press conferences. I love to watch what athletes say in victory and in defeat because that tells me everything about how they think. That tells me everything about their mindset. It tells me everything about where they're sitting, whether they have a trophy in their hand or whether they went home or whether they didn't even make the playoffs. The things that they say after the results is so profound to me, it's so important to me, and I've always been that way. And there was a profound moment to me. Jalen Brunson was in the press conference, and they were asking him a question. I forget exactly what the question was, but he was just talking about the professionalism, about, it's about the team, it's about me really understanding, what the goal was. And the person who asked the question said, "Oh, stop that. Give us the real answer. Stop with that, Hollywood or, saying the right thing." And he said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. This was so deep to me." He said, "Nah." He said, "I know that's what y'all think. That's what y'all believe, that, I'm just trying to say the right thing." But he goes, "I've trained my mind to really believe this. This is really how I think. That is really about the team. That is really about the championship. That is really about me understanding that we have to come together collectively to achieve this common goal." And if you hear that one simple statement, that was everything that you have to know about championship mindset. He gave a great self-evaluation and said, "This is the way I am." And if you know his story, and for me it's very, very special, more special than people really even realize, because his dad, I seen his father play. I seen Rick Brunson on the New York Knicks. I seen Rick Brunson when he played against the San Antonio Spurs for a couple of seconds when they lost the championship many, many, many years ago. I was watching that. And he talks about the story about his father training him to become a champion. And there's video out there, if you go on YouTube, if you didn't already see it, there's video out there of his dad training him to become a champion. giving him that hard work and dedication to know that it's about up here. So that self-evaluation is ingrained into his mindset for real. It's not a game. So his decision-making is powerful. So when he came to the New York Knicks, and let me just say again, that's something that so many players in this league, you got some outstanding Hall of Fame players that refuse to come to this town to play for New York Knicks. They refuse to come to the city to play for us because the pressure that's there makes you lose yourself. What do we train for in the mental conditioning movement, the mental conditioning gym? We train for clarity. And for most players to come to New York City to play, you lose your clarity. You lose your focus of what it is you really want to do. And that's play to win because you're worried about the media. We talk a lot of stuff here in New York, as you can see, good and bad. We go crazy. But you give Jalen Brunson tremendous credit because he kept his self-evaluation. Even when that reporter pressed him, oh, that ain't, look, give us the real. No, I'm telling you the real. So his decision to come here is so very, very profound. And his big picture is so very, very clear to him, regardless. And the journey has not been easy for him in the 3 years that he's been here. He's taken some hits. They tried to almost set him. I was bothering me. Even said, oh, he ain't going to win the MVP of the final. Who cares? This dude got him there. Whether he won the MVP or not, who cares? But the big picture was he has the trophy. He brought the championship to the New York Knicks, which seems unfathomable to most of us here. But here's the key thing. Principle number 4, he stayed the course. And the journey didn't start when he signed with the New York Knicks. The journey started on that park when he was about this high. You can't even see. He was a kid. And his father was training him. And you could hear the little lesson, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. You have to grind, stay the course. And he did that. Our lives are no different. But I promise each and every one of you here that are listening to me today, this is truly, truly, truly the formula that if you believe in the 4 principles of mental conditioning, that's the championship formula for life. But it's hard as hell. It's very difficult. And watching this journey, again, that's why I love sports, because in sports, you had a chance to see it over the course of the last 2 weeks or whatever, couple of months in the playoff run for the Knicks, how it's very easy to lose any of those 4 principles. Your self-evaluation, when you go out there, team is defending you well, the crowd is going crazy against you, you have to stay with who you are. But first and foremost, you got to know who you are. Our lives are the same way. Life is going to come out as hard. So you're going to have some great challenges in your life. How do you remember to stay who you are? Stay excellently grounded in terms of, I need to take my time. Well, who am I? I have to have a clear and concise self-evaluation of who I am, because life is going to test you. You're going to have days where you're going to get blown the hell out, and you're going to lose that day of life. But you have to have excellent self-evaluation and say, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm still have the same mindset, and I can still make the same decisions. That's the second principle. My decision-making is still sharp because I'm still true to who I am. If you're watching a game of basketball, you got that team beat. The minute you start getting them to lose their self-evaluation and they're making decisions based off of something that's not, we're not that team. But you got us making decisions based off of what you making us believe the type of team that we are. We got a big picture. We're going to win this championship no matter what. No matter how many points we're down, we're going to win this championship. Each and every day in our life, we have to have that. We're going to get up. The alarm clock might be late, so the minute didn't go off, you forgot to set it. So the minute that day starts, I'm down. Can you recover from that? Because I still have a big picture, so guess what? I'm going to figure this out, how to get there on time. I'm going to figure out how to say, I got to make these phone calls to square it away. So when I do get there, everything good. I'm just using small microcosms, but this is something that happens over the course of our lives. That's why this is such a, I can't tell you guys and articulate to you guys, certainly not in the time that I do Mental Conditioning Monday, what this means to me, not about as much as it means to me about basketball, but it's really about life, to see this journey and to stay the course. How do we stay the course in our lives when everything goes wrong? I know there's many out there that are listening to this and say, man, ain't nothing going right for me. Nothing. Everything that I touch turns to you know what. But you still got to be able to stay the course. If you understand the 4 principles, and if you understand one thing, that my mindset is putting me where I'm putting me, wherever I'm sitting. My mindset puts me here. So whether I'm holding that championship, whether I'm holding that MVP, yes, you have to be physically gifted to do that. But that's not what put those things in Jalen Brunson's hand. He's not the quickest guy in the world. He's not the greatest shooter in the world. He's not no flashy guy. But up here, he got it more than anybody in that league right now. That's a powerful piece to me. And I want everybody to understand that mindset about your lives. In our everyday lives, somebody can have more money than us. Somebody can be a more physically attractive person than us. Somebody can have bigger muscles than us. Somebody can have the most finest spouse, whatever, the best job. But can't nobody beat me up here. And if I can train my mind to believe that, just the way that reporter pressed him, said, come on, stop with that. Give us the real answer. No, the real answer is I believe up here that I can do whatever it is that's on my list that falls within the 4 principles of mental conditioning for me. I'm always clear about who I am. There's no question that life is going to ask me, because that's how I see life. Life is those reporters out there that's trying to press you with answers and trying to make you change who you are. I will never do that because I train. And listen, and if you don't train for that, again, Jalen Brunson trained for that his whole life. And we have to train for that our whole lives. And we got to put the time in. If you train for that, no matter what question life asks you, I know who I am. And I can make the decisions in regards to who I am. My big picture is always clear. And I have the ability to be able to stay the course no matter what. And trust me, what is going to happen? You name it, it's going to happen. So this was a story that we were able to follow. We were able to see of a huge journey. There's so many pieces. There's so many layers to that. I talked about Jalen Brunson, but there's so many other players on that team that this falls in line. If you look at and study the stories, I tell you guys all the time, I love to watch documentaries because I love to hear the backstory of who people are, because those are the things to me that truly make champions. So I got to get off. But congratulations to the New York Knicks. Congratulations to all the New York Knicks fans who have really suffered. I know that I've literally had tears of pain. I used to come upstairs to my mother when I was a kid, like, yo, are you serious? Like, are you crying right now? And I used to have to drop, no, I ain't crying, but I was. It hurt me so bad that we lost. And you know, to see this here, I'm just, sad that my father was not here to see it with me because he was on this journey. He taught me so much about life through basketball. So congratulations to the New York Knicks. Enjoy it. And congratulations to all the New York Knicks fans who have been in this journey for many, many, many years. Let's enjoy this one. My name is Elliot Allen. I'm a New York Knicks fan for life. Mental Conditioning Monday. Everybody have a great day.